Before we dive in, please remember that the information in this video is for educational purposes only. Cybersecurity is a complex and highly regulated field, and you should always consult with qualified IT, security, and legal professionals before implementing any new strategies or platforms for your specific business needs. This presentation is not a substitute for professional advice tailored to your organization's unique environment. It's 3:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. Your phone buzzes on the nightstand, a high-priority alert from your security team. You sit up, heart pounding, and read the message. Potential widespread credential compromise. Source unknown. Your blood runs cold. For the next 72 hours, your life is a blur of emergency meetings, forensic analysis, and frantic damage control. Your best people are working around the clock and they finally find it. The source. The patient zero of your corporate nightmare. It wasn't a sophisticated state-sponsored attack. It wasn't a phishing email that tricked a C-level executive. It was a free online PDF converter, a tool an intern in marketing used 3 months ago one time to change a file for a presentation. He signed up with his company email and, you guessed it, reused his main network password. He completely forgot the tool existed. But the tool's database didn't forget. It was sold on the dark web, and that one single forgotten piece of software became the unlocked backdoor to your entire company. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. This is happening right now in thousands of companies across the United States. And the scariest part is it's a threat you can't even see. We call it shadow IT, and it's part of a much bigger monster. SaaS sprawl. Think about it. How many different software applications does your company really use? 50? 100? The average company today uses over 370 different SaaS applications. 370. And that's just the ones the IT department knows about. The real number is always higher. Every time an employee expenses a new subscription for a cool productivity app, every time a department lead signs up for a new project management tool without telling anyone, that number grows. Each new app is another door into your organization, another potential point of failure, another password to be stolen, another set of permissions to be misconfigured, another vendor that could have a security breach you won't hear about for 6 months. Your company's digital footprint isn't a walled garden anymore. It's a sprawling, chaotic city with thousands of unmapped, unguarded entrances. And you're trying to defend it with a map that only shows the main streets. This is why the average cost of a data breach in the United States has skyrocketed to an astonishing $9.44 million. $9.44 million for a single incident. That's not just the cost of remediation. That's the cost of reputational damage, regulatory fines, customer churn, and lost business. Most of that cost comes from the time it takes to even identify and contain the breach. Why? Because you can't contain a threat when you don't even know where it's coming from. You're fighting ghosts in a machine you no longer fully control. So what's the solution? How do you fight an enemy you can't see? For years, the answer has been a patchwork of frustrating, disconnected tools. You have one system for tracking software licenses to try and control costs. You have another set of security tools to scan for known vulnerabilities. You have manual spreadsheets and quarterly audits trying to piece everything together. It's inefficient, it's expensive, and worst of all, it doesn't work. The gaps between these systems are where the real danger lives. It's the digital blind spot where that intern's PDF converter thrives. But what if you could eliminate the blind spots? What if you could have a single, unified view of every single piece of software being used across your entire organization? Not just the sanctioned apps, but the shadow IT. Not just the expensive enterprise contracts, but the $50 a month tools someone put on a corporate card. What if you could see who is using what, how often they're using it, how much it's costing you, and most importantly, what level of risk it represents, all from one single dashboard? That is the fundamental promise we are going to explore today. We are going to take a deep look inside a platform designed from the ground up to solve this exact problem. A platform that brings order to the chaos of modern SaaS management. It's called Cloud Eagle. And this isn't just about security. This is about taking back control over your entire technology stack. The same lack of visibility that creates massive security holes also creates staggering financial waste. Companies are wasting, on average, over 30% of their software spend on unused or underutilized licenses. It's shelfware. You're paying for hundreds of seats for a tool that only 10 people are actually using. You're paying for redundant applications because the sales team bought a tool that does the exact same thing as the one the marketing team bought 6 months earlier. It's death by 1,000 cuts to your operating budget. Cloud Eagle was built on a revolutionary idea. What if you could tie security directly to procurement and finance? What if the same platform that identifies a risky application could also tell you how much you're spending on it, and then give you the power to automatically deprovision it with a single click? This integration is the key. It transforms SaaS management from a defensive, reactive chore into a proactive, strategic advantage. It stops being about just plugging leaks and starts being about building a smarter, more efficient, and fundamentally more secure organization. Over the course of this video, we're going to break down exactly how this works. We'll go inside the Cloud Eagle platform and show you the core features that are giving Chief Information Security Officers and Chief Financial Officers something they haven't had in years: peace of mind. We'll look at the AI-powered discovery engine that automatically maps your entire SaaS ecosystem, leaving no stone unturned. We will explore the automated workflows that can reclaim unused licenses, streamline contract renewals, and enforce security policies without requiring a team of 10 people to manage it. You're going to see how you can finally get a definitive answer to the questions that keep you up at night. What are we using? Is it secure? And are we getting our money's worth? This is your guide to taming the SaaS beast and turning your biggest vulnerability into your most powerful, well-managed asset. Let's start with a scenario that's all too real. Imagine a company, we'll call them Innovate Corp. They're a fast-growing tech firm, smart people, great product. Their IT director, Sarah, is brilliant but buried. Every day is a firefight. One Tuesday morning she gets the alert, the one that makes your stomach drop. Unusual data activity, a potential breach. The entire security team scrambles. It's all hands on deck, a frantic search for the source, the digital patient zero. They spend hours, then days, digging through logs, interviewing employees, trying to retrace the steps of a ghost in their machine. Finally, they find it. The source wasn't a sophisticated nation-state attack. It wasn't a compromised server in their main cloud environment. It was a free third-party file-sharing application. An app that nobody in IT had ever heard of, let alone approved. An app a marketing intern, who left the company 2 years ago, had signed up for with his company email to share a large video file with a vendor. He used it once. He forgot about it. The vendor forgot about it. But the account remained active. The data remained on its servers. And that obscure, forgotten little app, with its flimsy, outdated security protocols, had just become a backdoor into Innovate Corp's sensitive campaign data. This isn't a scare tactic. This is the reality of shadow IT. It's the digital equivalent of leaving a back window of your house unlocked in a neighborhood you thought was safe. For Sarah and Innovate Corp, the damage was done. The fire drill was costly, the potential compliance fines were terrifying, and the trust they'd built with their customers was now at risk. All because of one app, one tool that they didn't even know existed. This is the core of the problem. You cannot protect what you cannot see. You can't secure a perimeter when you don't know where it ends. For most companies today, the perimeter isn't a firewall. It's a fog. A dense, swirling fog of hundreds, sometimes thousands of SaaS applications. This is where the journey to taking back control begins. It's not with a new firewall or another endpoint protection tool. It starts with one simple, powerful act: turning on the lights. And this is the absolute first thing Cloud Eagle does. It provides total, uncompromising visibility. It's designed to be the ultimate discovery engine, to penetrate that fog and map out every single piece of software being used across your entire organization. Now you might be thinking, we have ways of tracking this. Maybe you have a spreadsheet. Maybe you ask department heads to report their software usage once a quarter. With all due respect, that's like trying to count the cars on a highway by taking a single photograph every 3 months. It's a static snapshot of a dynamic, constantly changing environment. The intern signs up for a new AI transcription tool on Monday. The sales team starts a trial of a new lead enrichment platform on Tuesday. The design team finds a great new collaboration tool on Wednesday. Your spreadsheet is obsolete by the time you finish typing. Cloud Eagle's approach is fundamentally different. It doesn't ask people what they're using. It observes and discovers it in real time, using a multi-pronged method that leaves no stone unturned. Think of it as a team of elite digital detectives, each with a different specialty. First, you have the financial detective. This is the most direct line to the truth. Cloud Eagle integrates directly with your company's financial systems, your accounting software like QuickBooks or NetSuite, your expense platforms like Expensify, your corporate credit cards. It meticulously scans every single transaction, looking for recurring payments and one-off charges to software vendors. If money is being spent on it, Cloud Eagle finds it. This immediately uncovers all the officially purchased software, from the massive enterprise-wide contracts down to the $50 a month tool a small team is expensing. This alone is a giant leap out of the darkness. But what about the free tools? The freemium models? The apps like the one that Innovate Corp? That's where the second detective comes in. The identity specialist. Cloud Eagle plugs into your single sign-on, or SSO, and identity providers. Think Okta, Google Workspace, Azure Active Directory. These are the digital gatekeepers to most of your applications. By integrating here, Cloud Eagle sees every single application an employee logs into using their company credentials. It doesn't matter if it's a paid app or a free one. If they're using their company identity to access it, Cloud Eagle puts it on the map. This uncovers a massive layer of shadow IT that financial tracking alone would completely miss. Now we're getting a really clear picture. We see what we're paying for and we see what we're logging into. But there's still one more layer of shadow. The sneakiest tools of all. The ones an employee signs up for with a personal email but uses for work purposes, or the web-based tools that don't require a formal login. These are the digital ghosts that haunt your network. This is where the third detective, the digital forensics expert, comes into play. Cloud Eagle deploys a lightweight, privacy-first browser extension. It's not watching what your employees are typing or reading their emails. It has one job: to identify when an employee is using a known SaaS application. As your team works, it silently and efficiently cross-references the websites they use against a massive, ever-growing database of over 300,000 SaaS applications. When it gets a match, it logs it. This is the final piece of the puzzle. It's the net that catches everything that slipped past the financial and identity detectives. When you combine these three methods, financial integration, identity provider integration, and browser-level discovery, the result is breathtaking. It's the difference between looking at the night sky with your naked eye versus looking through the James Webb Space Telescope. The fog is gone. Suddenly you have a single, unified dashboard. A single source of truth. It's not a spreadsheet that's outdated in a week. It's a living, breathing inventory of your entire SaaS ecosystem, updated in real time. Every app, every user, every dollar. This isn't just about creating a list. Information without context is just noise. Cloud Eagle doesn't just show you what you have. It helps you understand it. For every application it discovers, it enriches the data. Tells you who the vendor is. It shows you their security posture. Are they SOC 2 compliant? GDPR compliant? It categorizes the app. Is it CRM? Project management? Marketing automation? It shows you who is using the app within your company, and more importantly, how often they're using it. Suddenly, you can see that you have 5 different project management tools being used by different teams, all doing essentially the same thing. You can see that the expensive enterprise license you bought for a data analytics platform is only being actively used by 10% of the employees who have access. You can see that a critical application holding sensitive customer data has a poor security rating and isn't being managed by IT. This is the power of true visibility. It transforms your role from a reactive firefighter, like Sarah, into a proactive strategist. You're no longer hunting for ghosts in the machine. You're standing on a command deck with a complete, real-time map of your entire digital territory. You can finally, for the first time, begin to answer those foundational questions with confidence. What are we using? The map is right in front of you. Is it secure? The security and compliance data is right there, next to each application. Are we getting our money's worth? The usage data and overlapping functionalities tell the whole story. This discovery and visibility is the bedrock upon which all good SaaS management and security is built. It's the essential first step. Before you can optimize costs, before you can automate workflows, before you can fortify your security, you have to turn on the lights and see exactly what you're dealing with. You have to trade the fog of uncertainty for the clarity of a single pane of glass. This is how you go from being a victim of your SaaS stack to being the master of it. And now that we have this complete, unblinking visibility, the real work can begin. Now we can start to manage, optimize, and secure this newly discovered world. So let's talk about what happens when you turn on the lights. You've been living in this house for years, you know where the big furniture is, but you've been navigating it mostly by feel. Then, Cloud Eagle flips the master switch, and for the first time you see everything. Every piece of furniture, every forgotten box in the corner, every dusty, unused appliance someone bought 3 years ago and plugged in. The initial feeling isn't just relief. It's a little overwhelming. You just went from a handful of known managed applications to a sprawling digital estate of hundreds, maybe thousands of them. You see Slack, Salesforce, and Microsoft 365, sure. But you also see 3 different project management tools you didn't know you had, a dozen AI-powered copywriting apps nobody approved, and a subscription for a data visualization tool that expired 6 months ago, but is still connected to your systems. This is the moment of truth for every organization. Visibility without action is just a more detailed report of your own chaos. It's a map of the wildfire, not a fire hose. This is where Cloud Eagle transitions from being a discovery tool to being your command and control center. The first step in taming this digital wilderness is to give it structure. To draw boundaries, create zones, and establish order. Think of it like a city planner looking at a satellite image for the first time. They don't just see a mess of buildings, they see potential for residential zones, commercial districts, and industrial parks. Cloud Eagle begins this process automatically. Using its vast database and machine learning, it starts categorizing every application it finds. It knows that Asana, Trello, and Jira are all project management tools. It knows that Figma, Sketch, and Adobe XD are design platforms. This initial, automated categorization is a massive head start. It immediately groups the herd into understandable corrals. But it doesn't stop there because your business is unique. Maybe you use a specific tool for a very specific, non-obvious purpose. Cloud Eagle allows you to create custom tags and labels to build a taxonomy that mirrors your actual business operations. You can tag applications by department, marketing, sales, engineering. You can tag them by function, CRM, analytics, communication. You can even tag them by strategic importance, mission critical, business important, optional. Why does this matter so much? Because you can't manage what you can't organize. Without this structure, you're just staring at an endless alphabetical list of software. With it, you can instantly ask and answer critical business questions. Questions like, show me every single redundant application we have. Cloud Eagle will immediately pull up a list showing you have 3 different enterprise file sharing services, all being paid for by different teams. Boom! Instant insight. Or, how many unsanctioned AI tools are connected to our network right now? A quick filter and you have your list. A list that, 5 minutes earlier, would have been completely invisible to your security team. This isn't just about making a neat list. This is about transforming raw, overwhelming data into structured, actionable intelligence. It's the foundation of everything that comes next. Once we know what we have, the next absolutely crucial question is who? Who owns this? Who is responsible? This might sound like a simple administrative task, but in most companies, it's a hornet's nest of confusion, finger-pointing, and drop balls. We've all lived this nightmare. An email arrives from finance with a 5-figure invoice for an automatic renewal of Data Smasher Pro. Finance asks the IT department who approved it. IT has no record of it. They ask the marketing team who says their old manager used it, but he left the company 8 months ago. They ask the data science team who say they evaluated it a year ago but chose a different product. Meanwhile, the invoice is due and nobody knows if you even need this software, who's using it, or how to turn it off. It's a classic case of orphan software. This is one of the biggest security and financial leaks in the modern enterprise. An unowned application is an unmanaged application. It's not being patched. Its user access is not being reviewed. Its data connections are not being monitored. It's a ghost ship sailing through your digital infrastructure with a full cargo of your company's sensitive data. Cloud Eagle systematically eradicates this problem. It doesn't just show you an app, it shows you who's using it. By integrating with your single sign-on providers like Okta or Azure AD, and your finance systems, it presents a clear data-backed picture of usage. It says, look, 15 people in the sales department have logged into this tool in the last 30 days, and the original purchase order was signed by the VP of Sales. Suddenly, there's no more mystery. The platform allows you to formally assign an owner to every single application. That person becomes the designated point of contact for renewals, for security reviews, for user provisioning. And we can build workflows around this. When a new application is discovered, a ticket can be automatically generated and assigned to a department head, prompting them to either claim ownership or decommission the tool. When an application's owner leaves the company, an alert is triggered to reassign ownership, ensuring no app ever becomes an orphan again. This creates a culture of accountability. It ends the blame game. Every single piece of software in your ecosystem has a name next to it. A throat to choke, so to speak. And from a security perspective, this is a quantum leap forward. You now have a clear chain of command for the security posture of every single tool. If a vulnerability is discovered in a marketing analytics tool, you know exactly who to call. There's no more shouting into the void. You have a direct line to the person responsible, and you can track the remediation process from start to finish. With everything categorized and every app assigned a clear owner, we can now get proactive. We can move from reacting to chaos to orchestrating the entire lifecycle of our software assets. This is where we stop playing defense and start playing offense. The application lifecycle isn't just about buying and using software. It's a continuous journey with distinct phases: procurement, onboarding, utilization tracking, renewal management, and finally offboarding. Most companies are only good at the first part, buying things. The rest is often a mess. Cloud Eagle provides a dedicated module to manage this entire flow. Let's start with procurement. Instead of employees randomly buying software on credit cards, you can establish a centralized, approved software catalog. Employees can go to one place to request the tools they need. This request can trigger a workflow. First, it checks if you already have a tool that does the same thing, preventing redundant purchases. If the request is for a new tool, it can be automatically routed to IT for a security review, to legal for a contract review, and to finance for budget approval. All in one seamless, auditable process. You're not just saying no. You're guiding users to the right, secure, and cost-effective solutions. Then comes renewal management. This is a billion-dollar problem for businesses. Missing a renewal window for a critical piece of software can be catastrophic. On the other hand, letting a useless, expensive tool auto-renew is like setting a pile of cash on fire every year. Cloud Eagle's platform transforms this. It doesn't just give you a calendar. It enriches that calendar with intelligence. For any upcoming renewal, say 90 days out, it automatically alerts the application owner. But it doesn't just send a simple reminder. It provides a full dossier on that application. It shows the owner the current contract terms, the price, and most importantly, the actual usage data. It tells them, you have 100 licenses for this software, but only 12 people have logged in this quarter. Do you really want to renew all 100? This empowers the owner to make an intelligent, data-driven decision, not a gut feel guess. They can choose to renew, to renegotiate based on low usage, or to terminate the contract and begin the offboarding process. And that offboarding process is just as critical. When you decide to stop using an application, you can't just stop paying for it. You need to ensure all user accounts are properly deprovisioned. You need to make sure all company data is securely extracted or deleted. You need to terminate any active API connections it has to your other core systems. Forgetting this step is how data breaches happen years after you've stopped using a service. Cloud Eagle lets you build a standardized offboarding checklist and workflow for every application, ensuring that when you break up with a vendor, it's a clean break. By managing this full lifecycle, you're fundamentally changing your relationship with technology. You're moving from a reactive, chaotic state of procurement and management to a proactive, strategic, and secure system of governance. You've taken the wild, untamed map of your SaaS stack, you've zoned the city, you've assigned a superintendent to every single block, and you've established the rules of the road for how traffic flows. The city is now orderly, efficient, and accountable. But even in the most well-managed city, there are hidden dangers. There are vulnerabilities in the infrastructure, there are unsecure backdoors, and there are compliance risks lurking in the shadows. Now that we have order, it's time to put on our security chief hat and start hunting for the real threats. So let's do it. We're diving straight into the security posture module, and this is where the game completely changes. Because all that work we did getting visibility, getting everything tagged and organized, that wasn't just a tidiness exercise. That was loading the weapon. Now we get to aim it. The first thing Cloud Eagle does is scan every single cloud asset against hundreds of industry-standard security benchmarks and best practices. Think of things like the CIS benchmarks, the NIST framework, SOC2, HIPAA. It's like having a team of the world's best security auditors, each a specialist in their own field, meticulously examining every nut, bolt, and digital doorway in your entire cloud environment, 24 hours a day. And what's the very first thing they almost always find? The digital equivalent of a door left wide open. I'm talking about cloud misconfigurations. This is without a doubt one of the single biggest sources of major data breaches in the last decade. It's not some super sophisticated, nation-state level hack. It's a simple human error. A checkbox that wasn't ticked. A setting that was left on public instead of private during a rushed deployment. It's the digital equivalent of building a brand new bank vault with titanium walls and a state-of-the-art lock, but forgetting to close the door on your way out. Let me give you a classic, terrifyingly common example. The public S3 bucket. An S3 bucket is basically just a storage container in the cloud. Companies use them to store everything from website images to, you guessed it, sensitive customer data, internal documents, application backups, you name it. By default, these are private. But with one wrong click, a developer, maybe working late on a Friday, can accidentally set its permissions to public. What does that mean? It means that data is no longer inside your vault. It's sitting on a public park bench with a sign that says, "Free to take." And hackers aren't guessing. They have automated tools that are constantly, relentlessly scanning the internet for these open buckets. They are digital prospectors, and they are sifting for gold. Your customers' personal information, your company's secret financial projections, your source code, that's their gold. Without a tool like Cloud Eagle, how would you even know this happened? The application the developer was working on might still function perfectly. No alarms go off. No one gets an error message. The vulnerability is completely silent. It could sit there for weeks, months, even years, a ticking time bomb, until you get that dreaded phone call from a journalist, or worse, a ransom demand from a hacker. But right here on this dashboard, it's the first thing that screams at you. A critical level alert. It doesn't just say misconfiguration found. That's useless. That's just more noise. It gives you the full story. Tells you which bucket is public. It tells you who owns it, thanks to the discovery and mapping we did earlier. It tells you what kind of data is likely inside it, based on its tags and context. It gives you a risk score, so you know this isn't some minor issue to put on next week's to-do list. This is an all-hands-on-deck, fix-it-right-now problem. And here's the most important part. It tells you exactly how to fix it. Step-by-step remediation guidance. Click here, change this setting, run this command. It takes the panic and the guesswork out of the equation. It turns a potential company-ending crisis into a manageable 10-minute task. You're not just finding the fire. You're handing the firefighter the right extinguisher and pointing them directly at the flames. This isn't just security. It's operational sanity. But misconfigurations are just the beginning. They're the unlocked doors. What about the people who already have the keys? I'm talking about identity and access management, or IAM. This is the realm of who can do what. In any growing company, this gets complicated fast. You have developers, contractors, third-party services, all needing different levels of access to do their jobs. The problem is a concept called privilege creep. A developer needs admin access for a specific project. They get it. The project ends, but the access remains. A marketing employee moves to a new role, but they keep all the permissions from their old role, plus the new ones. Over time, you end up with hundreds of users who have far more power than they actually need. Think of it like this: you hire a contractor to paint a single office in your building. To make it easy, you give them the master key that opens every single door, the server room, the CEO's office, the HR file room. They only need to get into that one office, but they could go anywhere. That is a massive, unnecessary risk. This is what hackers prey on. They don't always have to break down the front door. It's much easier to steal a key. They compromise a low-level user account through a phishing email. And if that user is overprivileged, the hacker doesn't just have a key to one office. They have the master key. They have the keys to the kingdom. They can move laterally through your systems, escalate their own privileges, find your most valuable data, and exfiltrate it without ever triggering a traditional alarm. Trying to manage this manually is a nightmare. It's an endless spreadsheet of users and permissions that's outdated the second you finish making it. But Cloud Eagle automates this. It analyzes what permissions a user has versus what permissions they actually use. It'll flag an account and say, "Hey, this user has full administrative access to your entire database. But in the last 90 days, they've only ever performed a single read-only action." This is a standing privilege risk. It identifies those master keys that have been handed out and forgotten. It allows you to implement the principle of least privilege, giving people the absolute minimum access they need to do their job, and nothing more. It's like automatically collecting all the unnecessary master keys and replacing them with keys that only open the one door that person needs to go through. This continuous monitoring is the core of modern cybersecurity. It's not about running a scan once a quarter. Threats don't operate on a quarterly schedule. A misconfiguration can be introduced at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. An employee can click a phishing link at any moment. Your security posture isn't a static photograph. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that is constantly changing. Cloud Eagle acts as the central nervous system for that ecosystem. It detects configuration drift in real time. The second a developer accidentally makes that S3 bucket public, an alert is generated. The moment a new user is granted excessive permissions, it gets flagged for review. This transforms your security team from being reactive firefighters, constantly scrambling to put out the latest blaze, to being proactive architects, reinforcing the structure so the fires never start in the first place. This is how you scale security. You can't just hire more people to stare at more dashboards. You'll drown in alerts. You need a system that can intelligently analyze your entire environment, connect the dots between an asset, its owner, its data, and its configuration, and then prioritize the handful of risks that truly matter. It filters out the noise and leaves you with a clear, actionable signal. We've taken the chaos of the cloud, we've organized it, and now we've secured the foundational layers. We've checked the doors, we've audited the key holders, and we've installed a surveillance system that never blinks. But the modern cloud environment has another layer of complexity, another attack surface that most companies are completely blind to. The threats aren't always just misconfigurations in your own infrastructure. Sometimes the threat is a trusted tool that you invited in yourself. What happens when the applications your teams use every day to be productive, your Slack, your Salesforce, your Microsoft 365, start talking to each other, creating a hidden web of connections and permissions that you can't see? The danger isn't just an unlocked door. It's a Trojan horse you willingly pulled inside the gates. And this Trojan horse isn't a single entity. It's 1,000 tiny ones, each invited in by your own team with the best of intentions. Think about it. An employee in marketing finds a new, cutting-edge AI tool that promises to analyze customer sentiment from Zendesk tickets and automatically generate campaign ideas in Asana. To be more efficient, to do their job better, they click a single button. Authorize. They connect the AI tool to Zendesk. They connect it to Asana. They've just created a new, invisible bridge between two core systems, a bridge that your security team has no idea even exists. Now multiply that by 100 employees. 1,000, each one forging their own connections. The sales team links a new lead enrichment tool to Salesforce and LinkedIn. The engineering team connects a code monitoring app to GitHub and Jira. Finance connects a new expense reporting software to NetSuite and Microsoft 365. Each connection is a thread, and over time, these threads weave together into a vast, tangled, and completely unmonitored web of permissions and data flows. This isn't just shadow IT anymore. This is shadow infrastructure. It's a hidden digital nervous system running through your company that you didn't build and you can't control. Let's make this real. Imagine a company we'll call Innovate Tech. They're a fast-growing SaaS company just like many of you. Their security posture is good. They have firewalls, endpoint detection, multi-factor authentication, the works. They feel secure. One of their top product managers, let's call him David, is a superstar. He's always looking for an edge. He discovers a new diagramming tool, Chartify, that lets him build beautiful flowcharts and sync them directly into a shared Slack channel and a Confluence page. It's a dream for collaboration. He goes to the Chartify website, signs up, and is presented with a familiar pop-up. Chartify would like to access your Slack and Confluence workspaces. He sees a list of permissions, things like view channels, host messages, read content on pages. It all seems reasonable. The app needs these permissions to do its job, right? He clicks Allow. In that single click, David has just handed a third-party application a set of digital keys, an OAuth token, that gives Chartify ongoing, persistent access to some of his company's most sensitive internal communications and project documentation. David has no idea that Chartify is a tiny 3-person startup operating out of a garage. They're brilliant developers, but they're not security experts. They store their customers' OAuth tokens, those digital keys, in a database that's not properly encrypted. One night, an attacker, scanning for easy targets, finds a simple vulnerability in Chartify's website. They get in. They don't care about Chartify's own data. They're looking for the jackpot, the folder full of digital keys to all of Chartify's customers. And there it is. The key to Innovate Tech is Slack. The key to their Confluence. Now here's where the game changes. The attacker doesn't launch a noisy brute force attack on Innovate Tech's front door. That would set off alarms. Instead, they walk in silently through the side entrance David created. They use the Chartify key. To Innovate Tech's systems, this traffic doesn't look malicious at all. It looks like the Chartify application doing its job. It's legitimate authorized traffic. The attacker starts by using the Slack access. The permission David granted wasn't just for the one channel he used. The fine print he skimmed over actually said, "View content in public channels." So the attacker starts listening. They join the #finance channel and see discussions about quarterly earnings before they're public. They join the #strategy channel and download a document detailing a confidential merger negotiation. They're a ghost in the machine, completely invisible. But it gets worse. They move to Confluence. Using the same key, they start mapping out Innovate Tech's entire product roadmap. They find technical documentation, internal wikis, even pages with embedded credentials for staging environments. They're not breaking anything, they're just reading. They are downloading the company's crown jewels, one authorized API call at a time. The blast radius from David's one innocent click has now expanded to encompass the entire company's intellectual property. And the final devastating blow? The attacker notices that David, being a product manager, is in a private Slack channel with the head of engineering and the CTO. The permission granted to Chartify also included the ability to post messages as the authorized user. The attacker crafts a message posing as David. It says, "Hey, having trouble accessing the new deployment server. Can you remind me of the login syntax for the master branch?" The CTO, seeing a message from his trusted PM, replies with the critical information. Game over. The attacker now has direct access to the code repository. They can inject malicious code, steal the entire software base, or deploy ransomware. And throughout this entire company-ending breach, not a single traditional security alarm went off. The firewall saw nothing wrong. The endpoint protection on David's laptop saw nothing wrong. The multi-factor authentication prompts were never triggered. Why? Because the attack didn't happen at the human level or the network level. It happened at the application level. It exploited the trust you implicitly place in the hundreds of apps your employees connect to your core systems every single day. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. This exact type of SaaS to SaaS, or third-party, breach is one of the fastest-growing attack vectors today. Attackers know that the front door is fortified. They're no longer trying to pick the lock. They're looking for the hundreds of valet keys your employees have handed out to anyone who asks. They breach the small, insecure valet company to get the key to your corporate Ferrari. So the question you have to ask yourself is not, is my front door locked? The question is, how many side doors have my employees unknowingly opened? How many Chartifys are connected to your environment right now? Do you know what permissions they have? Do you know what data they can access? Can you even see these connections? For most organizations, the answer is a terrifying no. They are completely blind to this interconnected web. They have a detailed map of their network, but the equally critical map of their application ecosystem is a complete blank. They're trying to defend a city without knowing where all the roads lead. This invisibility is the core of the problem. You cannot protect what you cannot see. And it's this fundamental blindness, this hidden world of app-to-app connections, that is creating a new and profound level of systemic risk inside almost every modern company. So let's take that idea of systemic risk and make it real. Imagine your company isn't a company for a moment. Imagine it's a complex, modern city. You have your major, well-known buildings, your Salesforce Tower, your Microsoft 365 Plaza, your Google Workspace District. The IT department, like city planners, knows these buildings inside and out. They control the main doors, they manage the security, they know who's supposed to be there. The main roads connecting these buildings are well lit, monitored, and secure. But what about the alleyways? What about the service tunnels, the steam pipes, the forgotten maintenance corridors that connect the basements of these buildings? What about the unofficial bridges that employees have built from one skyscraper to another, just to make their commute easier? These are your app-to-app connections. A marketing employee connects a social media scheduler to the main customer database. An HR team member links a new survey tool directly into the employee record system. A sales rep uses a third-party plugin to sync their calendar with a prospecting tool. Each of these connections is a hidden tunnel, a dark alleyway, and you, the city planner, have no map. You don't know they exist. You don't know if they're structurally sound or on the verge of collapse. You don't know who is using them, or what they're carrying through them. This isn't a failure of your security team. It's a direct consequence of the way we work now. We live in the age of the API economy and hyperautomation. The entire promise of modern software is integration. It's the idea that you can connect anything to create seamless workflows and unlock productivity. And your employees are brilliant. They've embraced this. They are building their own solutions to their own problems, connecting apps with a few clicks, authorizing access with their own credentials, and moving on. They're not being malicious. They're being efficient. But in doing so, they are unknowingly digging a network of unmonitored, unregulated tunnels beneath your city. And sooner or later, something is going to crawl through one of them that you really don't want inside your most secure buildings. This is the exact problem Cloud Eagle was built to solve. It was designed to be the city planner's ultimate tool, a ground-penetrating radar for your entire digital ecosystem. Its first and most critical job is to solve the visibility problem. It's designed to turn on the lights in every single one of those dark tunnels. So how does it do this? This isn't just a simple network scan. That would be like only looking at the main roads. Cloud Eagle takes a multi-pronged, almost forensic approach to discovery. First, it integrates with the very systems that act as the gatekeepers and financial ledgers of your company. It plugs into your single sign-on or SSO providers like Okta or Azure AD. This allows it to see every application that an employee has been formally granted access to. That's the official census. But that's just the start. The real magic happens when it connects to your financial systems, your ERP, your accounting software like NetSuite, QuickBooks, your expense platforms like Expensify. Why? Because software isn't free. Every subscription, every license, every tool someone is using leaves a financial footprint. Cloud Eagle follows the money. It analyzes every transaction, every invoice, every expense report, and cross-references it with its list of over 300,000 known software vendors. It can spot a 5-person team expensing a project management tool that IT has never heard of. It can find a $100,000 annual contract for a data analytics platform that was signed by a department head, completely bypassing official procurement. This is how you find the shadow IT that isn't connected to your SSO. But even that doesn't show you the connections between the apps. This is where Cloud Eagle goes deeper. It looks at the integrations themselves. It uses browser extension monitoring to see what plugins your employees are using to connect their core applications, like Gmail or Salesforce, to other third-party services. These extensions often ask for incredibly broad permissions. Read and change all your data on the websites you visit. An employee clicks accept without a second thought, and suddenly, a small unvetted company has a key to their entire inbox or customer list. And most importantly, it discovers the API connections. These are the most powerful and most dangerous tunnels. By integrating with your major SaaS platforms directly, Cloud Eagle can query them and ask a simple question. Who are you talking to? It pulls a complete list of every other application that has been connected via an API key or an OAuth token. It creates a comprehensive, undeniable map of every single data sharing connection that exists in your environment. Let's go back to our story about Innovate Corp. Remember their marketing team? Let's say a content strategist, we'll call her Sarah, is under pressure to produce more blog posts. She finds a hot new AI writing assistant online. Let's call it Word Genius. It promises to analyze their customer data in Salesforce and automatically generate perfectly targeted articles. To make it work, Sarah just needs to connect it. She goes into Salesforce, creates an API key, and pastes it into Word Genius. The instructions say to grant it full read and write access to work best. She does. From Sarah's perspective, she just solved a major business problem. She's a hero. From the CISO's perspective, a silent ticking time bomb has just been activated. Word Genius is a 3-person startup with questionable security practices. That API key she created doesn't just give it access to marketing leads. It gives it access to every single customer record, every contact detail, every financial history, every sensitive note in their entire Salesforce instance. It's a master key. And IT has zero visibility that this connection even exists. It won't show up on any network scan. It won't trigger any traditional alerts. It is a ghost in the machine. Now Innovate Corp deploys Cloud Eagle. Within the first day of the discovery process running, an alert is automatically generated. It's flagged as a high-risk, unauthorized integration. The CISO gets a notification and clicks on it. And what they see is not just an IP address. They see the full picture. They see the app name Word Genius. They see the owner, Sarah in marketing. They see the system it's connected to, Salesforce production. They see the exact permissions it has. Read, create, edit, and delete on all customer objects. They can even see how much data has been flowing through the connection and when it was last active. In an instant, the invisible becomes visible. the abstract risk becomes a concrete, actionable piece of intelligence. They can now immediately go to Sarah, understand the business need, and most importantly, deactivate that API key before WordGenius suffers a breach and Innovate Corp's entire customer database ends up for sale on the dark web. This is the power of true discovery. It's not just about creating a list of apps. It's about creating a living, breathing map of your digital supply chain. It's about understanding the relationships, the dependencies, and the flow of data between every single node in your network. Cloud Eagle doesn't just show you the buildings in your city. It gives you the complete architectural blueprints, including every hidden tunnel, every secret passage, and every unauthorized bridge. Turns on the lights. But here's the critical next step. Once the lights are on, you're often horrified by what you see. A tangled web of redundant tools, high-risk connections, and forgotten integrations, all humming along, all creating risk, all costing money. Discovering the problem is the essential first step, but it is only the first step. Just seeing the chaos isn't enough to fix it. The real question is, now that you have this perfect map of all the hidden risks, what do you do about it? How do you move from simply seeing the problem to actively controlling it, without breaking the business workflows your employees rely on every single day? That's the fundamental shift from reactive to proactive security. It's the difference between being a firefighter, constantly rushing to put out blazes, and being an architect designing a system where fires can't even start. The answer lies in transforming that map of risks into a command and control center. This is where you codify your company's security DNA into intelligent, automated workflows that run 24/7, without requiring a single human to press a button. Imagine setting up the rules of the road for your entire digital workspace. Not just suggestions, but hard, unbreakable laws. With Cloud Eagle, you build a policy engine that acts as your sleepless, vigilant enforcer. You can create a rule that says, any new application connected by an employee that is flagged as high risk by our security scanner is to be automatically blocked, and an alert is to be sent to the IT security team immediately. Boom! An entire category of threat is neutralized before it even has a chance to manifest. Or how about this? No application can be purchased or integrated if its functionality overlaps more than 80% with an existing, approved tool in our stack. Just like that, you've not only prevented security risks from a redundant app, but you've also stopped financial waste in its tracks. You can set policies for anything. Flag any user who downloads more than 5 gigabytes of data from our CRM in a 24-hour period. Alert us if a department's spending on a particular software category exceeds its quarterly budget. These aren't just alerts. They are tripwires. They are the automated guardrails that keep your organization safe and efficient, allowing your teams to move fast without breaking things. But a rule is only as good as its enforcement. And this is where the real magic happens, particularly when it comes to the life cycle of an employee. Let's talk about one of the biggest, most persistent security holes in modern business: offboarding. When an employee leaves, a frantic manual scavenger hunt begins. The IT team pulls up a spreadsheet, a document that's probably outdated, and starts going down the list. Did we revoke their Salesforce access? What about their GitHub account? Did they have admin rights in MailChimp? Are they still in that shared Slack channel with our partners? Every missed checkbox is a potential data breach. It's a race against time, and it's a race that manual processes are destined to lose. We've all heard the horror stories of a disgruntled ex-employee logging back in weeks later to steal a customer list or delete critical data. Now, picture the Cloud Eagle way. Your HR system, whether it's Workday, Bamboo HR, or something else, is the source of truth. The moment an employee's status is changed to terminated in that system, a workflow is triggered. Instantly, automatically, and without fail, Cloud Eagle begins the deprovisioning cascade. It communicates with every single application that employee had access to. It revokes their access to Google Workspace, it deactivates their Microsoft 365 license, it suspends their Salesforce account, it removes them from the engineering team's GitHub organization, it logs them out of their Slack session, it reclaims their Zoom Pro license, and it does this for all 50, 60, or even 100 other applications they touched. The entire process takes minutes, not days. It's not a checklist. It's a systematic automated shutdown. There is zero chance of human error. Zero chance of forgetting that one obscure app they signed up for 6 months ago. You get a complete, auditable log of every single action taken. When the compliance auditors come knocking and ask for proof that you have a secure offboarding process, you don't hand them a messy spreadsheet. You give them a pristine, time-stamped report that shows comprehensive deprovisioning, completed within minutes of the employee's departure. This single capability closes one of the most dangerous and common security gaps that companies face, transforming a high-risk, high-stress event into a routine, automated non-issue. And this power works in reverse for onboarding, which is just as critical. The old way. A new hire shows up on Monday morning excited to get to work, but they can't. They spend their first 2 days filling out IT tickets. I need access to the marketing drive. Can you add me to the sales team's Asana board? I don't have a license for the design software yet. It's a productivity killer and a frustrating first impression. With automated, role-based workflows, the moment that new hire is created in the HR system, Cloud Eagle provisions everything they need based on their job title and department. A new senior account executive in the sales department? They automatically get their Salesforce account with the correct permission set, a Zoom Pro license, access to the sales enablement platform, and an invitation to the relevant Slack channels. They are productive from hour 1, not day 3. And just as importantly, they only get access to what they need. No over-provisioning of permissions, no accidental access to sensitive financial or engineering data. It's security and efficiency, hand in hand, from the very beginning. This level of control extends beyond just hiring and firing. It revolutionizes the day-to-day management of software access. Let's say a marketing manager wants her team to start using a new project management tool she saw online. Instead of the old shadow IT problem, where she just puts it on a credit card and nobody in security knows, she goes to a centralized app catalog powered by Cloud Eagle. She clicks Request Access. This is where the intelligence kicks in. The request doesn't just go into a black hole of IT tickets. An automated workflow begins. First, it's routed to her direct manager for business approval. The manager gets a notification right inside Slack or Microsoft Teams, reviews the business case, and clicks Approve. The workflow then automatically sends it to the IT security team. Cloud Eagle has already pre-populated the request with all its security assessment data, its risk score, its compliance certifications like SOC 2 and ISO 27001, and any potential data vulnerabilities. The security team can make an informed decision in minutes. Once they approve, it might go to finance to confirm it's within budget. With all approvals in place, the license is automatically provisioned for the team. The entire process is transparent, secure, and incredibly fast. It empowers the marketing manager to get the tools she needs to innovate, while giving security and IT the absolute control and visibility they require. You're no longer the department of no. You're the department of yes, and here's how we do it safely. This same workflow engine can then be used to automate the painful process of periodic access reviews. Instead of IT spending a month every quarter chasing down managers to verify who still needs access to what, Cloud Eagle automates it. It sends reports to managers showing who on their team has access to high-risk applications, and the manager can certify or revoke that access with a few clicks. This satisfies compliance requirements like Sarbanes-Oxley with almost zero manual effort. By weaving this web of intelligent policies and automated workflows, you fundamentally change your security posture. You're no longer just observing the landscape you discovered. You are now actively shaping it, directing the flow of data and access with precision. You've built an immune system for your organization that automatically identifies and neutralizes threats, streamlines operations, and ensures that the right people have the right access to the right tools at the right time. Nothing more, nothing less. You've achieved a state of control that was previously impossible, freeing up your best people to focus on strategic initiatives instead of manual, repetitive, and error-prone tasks. And this is where the game truly changes. Because with that time, with that new mental space, your security team can finally stop playing defense and start playing offense. They can go hunting. Not for external hackers or nation-state actors, at least not yet. They can go hunting for a threat that is far more common, far more insidious, and already inside your walls. It's a threat that grows in the dark, in the forgotten corners of your organization, silently expanding your attack surface second by second. We're talking about shadow IT. Think of it like this. Your official, sanctioned, and secured IT infrastructure is like a well-lit, professionally managed factory. You have quality control, safety inspectors, and clear processes. Every input and output is monitored. But shadow IT is a second, hidden factory operating in the basement. No one knows exactly how big it is. No one is inspecting the machinery. Employees, with the best of intentions, are bringing in their own tools, connecting them to your power grid, and piping your company's sensitive data through them without a single security check. A marketing team signs up for a free AI video editor with a company email, uploading proprietary product designs. A sales team, frustrated with the official CRM, starts using a lightweight, cloud-based alternative, exporting your entire customer list. An engineering team uses a new code-sharing platform to collaborate with a contractor, inadvertently making a private code repository public. Each of these actions, done to improve productivity, is like a crack forming in your fortress wall, and you have no idea how many cracks there are, where they are, or how deep they go. Legacy solutions for this were clumsy and ineffective. You could try to block certain websites at the firewall, but that's a game of whack-a-mole you will always lose. You could send out sternly worded emails, which are almost universally ignored. For years, this has been the unsolvable problem, the accepted cost of doing business in a cloud-first world. You just had to hope that one of these thousands of unvetted, unmanaged applications didn't become your company's next headline-making data breach. This is the hunt Cloud Eagle empowers your team to undertake. It turns the lights on in that dark, hidden factory. Suddenly, you have a complete blueprint. Cloud Eagle achieves this through a multi-pronged approach, creating a dragnet so fine that nothing slips through. First, it integrates directly with your financial systems. It scans expense reports, accounts payable, and corporate card statements. If an employee is expensing a subscription to a piece of software, Cloud Eagle flags it. It doesn't matter if it's $5 a month or $5,000. If the company is paying for it, it's now on your radar. This is the first layer, catching anything with a financial footprint. But what about the free tools? The freemium models, the free trials, the tools that are the most dangerous because they often have the weakest security and the most invasive data policies? For this, Cloud Eagle deploys its next layers. It integrates with your single sign-on, or SSO, providers like Okta and Azure AD. It sees every application an employee logs into using their corporate credentials. If it's not on your sanction list, it's flagged. It also utilizes a lightweight browser extension that can identify when employees are signing up for new services or logging into web apps, even those that don't use the official SSO. It's like having a security guard at every digital door in your organization, taking notes on who is coming and going and what tools they're bringing inside. The result of this is, frankly, shocking for most companies. The initial discovery report is a moment of reckoning. The average CIO believes their organization uses around 200 to 300 different SaaS applications. The reality Cloud Eagle uncovers is often 3 to 4 times that number. 700 apps. 900 apps. Over 1,000. The hidden factory isn't a small workshop in the basement. It's a sprawling underground metropolis of risk that you were completely blind to. And this is where Cloud Eagle separates itself from a simple discovery tool. Finding the problem is only step one. A list of 800 unknown applications is not an asset. It's a panic attack in spreadsheet form. The real power lies in what you do next. Cloud Eagle doesn't just give you the list. It gives you the command center to deal with it. Each discovered application is automatically enriched with over 150 data points. Who is the vendor? Where are they based? What kind of data do they process? And most critically, what is their security posture? Cloud Eagle pulls in crucial data on their compliance certifications. Are they SOC 2 compliant? ISO 27001? FedRAMP? Have they had any publicly disclosed security breaches in the last 5 years? Instantly, that terrifying list of 800 apps starts to become manageable. It's triage. You can sort and filter, bringing the highest risk applications right to the top. That file-sharing app with no security certifications being used by your finance department? That's priority 1. That obscure marketing analytics tool with a history of data breaches? Priority 2. You can see which apps are functionally identical. You might discover you have 7 different project management tools, 5 different video conferencing platforms, and 4 different e-signature solutions, all being paid for, all holding company data, all creating redundant risk. This is the process of rationalization, and it leads to 2 of the most powerful outcomes for any business: drastic cost savings and a hardened security posture. Let's talk about the money first, because it is immediate and substantial. For every one of those redundant applications you uncover, you have an opportunity to consolidate. Instead of paying for 7 project management tools, you standardize on 1. You use Cloud Eagle's usage data to see which one is actually the most adopted and most effective. You migrate the users, and you terminate the other 6 contracts. We see companies saving hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars in the first year alone, simply by eliminating this rampant waste. It goes deeper than that. For the apps you keep, both the newly discovered and the already sanctioned, Cloud Eagle gives you granular insight into license usage. You might be paying for 500 premium enterprise licenses for a design tool, but the data shows that 150 of those users haven't logged in for over 90 days. Another 100 users only use the free features. This is money being lit on fire. With Cloud Eagle, you can set up an automated workflow. If a user is inactive for a set period, their license is automatically deprovisioned and placed back into the license pool, ready for someone who actually needs it. This isn't a one-time saving. It's a continuous optimization engine that ensures you are never overspending on software licenses again. Now let's pivot back to security because the ROI here is even more profound. Every one of those unvetted shadow IT applications represents an unknown variable in your security equation. By bringing them into the light, you eliminate the unknown. For each new app that's discovered, you can trigger a security review workflow directly within the platform. The app owner is notified. They have to fill out a questionnaire. A ticket is created for the security team to conduct a formal review. Based on that review, a decision is made. 1. The app is deemed safe and necessary, so it's approved and brought under official management. It's added to your SSO, and all future user provisioning for it is handled through the automated workflows we discussed earlier. The shadow app is now a sanctioned, secure part of your ecosystem. 2. The app is deemed redundant. A sanctioned alternative already exists. The workflow then identifies every user of the shadow app, notifies them of the official alternative, and then automatically deprovisions their access and blocks the application. Or 3. The app is deemed a high-risk security threat. The workflow immediately springs into action, deprovisioning all users and blocking it across the organization before it can cause a breach. What you've just done is monumental. You have taken that chaotic, sprawling underground city of risk and transformed it into a planned, managed, and secure extension of your official IT infrastructure. You've closed hundreds, if not thousands, of potential entry points for attackers. You've ensured that all the software touching your data meets your rigorous security and compliance standards. And you didn't just do it once. You've built a sustainable, automated system that continuously discovers, vets, and manages any new application that appears, ensuring you never fall back into a state of blindness. You have achieved total, persistent visibility and control over your entire SaaS attack surface. But achieving that visibility, as critical as it is only half-time. It's the moment you finally see the entire field of play, with every player and every potential threat laid out before you. The real game is won in the second half. It's won by what you do with that information. It's about transforming visibility into action, into a hardened, resilient, and proactive security posture. This is where we move from simply knowing what's out there to actively controlling and securing it. And this is where the true power of an integrated platform like Cloud Eagle becomes undeniable. Let's start with the silent killer of enterprise security: misconfigurations. Think of every SaaS application your company uses, your Salesforce, your Microsoft 365, your Workday, your GitHub, as a digital building. Each one has hundreds, if not thousands, of doors, windows, and security settings. A single misconfiguration is like leaving the main vault door unlocked and wide open, with a welcome mat laid out for attackers. The problem is, you have hundreds of these digital buildings, each built by a different architect with a different set of security blueprints. Manually checking every single setting in every single app is not just impossible. It's a recipe for burnout and, ultimately, failure. You might have your Salesforce admin team telling you everything is locked down. Your Microsoft team says the same. But are they checking for the same security baselines? Are they aligned with industry best practices like the CIS benchmarks or your own internal security policies? Almost certainly not. This creates dangerous security gaps. Cloud Eagle's SaaS Security Posture Management, or SSPM, module acts as your master security architect. It connects to all these critical applications and automatically, continuously, runs hundreds of checks against established security frameworks and your own custom policies. Suddenly, you have a single dashboard that tells you in plain English, hey, in your Salesforce instance, you have 3 profiles with modify all data permissions that shouldn't. Or, in your Microsoft 365 tenant, multi-factor authentication is disabled for 27 administrative accounts. These aren't vague warnings. These are specific, actionable insights with guided remediation steps. You're no longer hunting in the dark, hoping your teams configured things correctly. You have a system of record, a source of truth that shows you exactly where your risks are, why they're risks, and how to fix them, instantly transforming your security posture from reactive to proactive. You're not just finding the unlocked doors, You're getting a prioritized list of which ones to lock first and the exact keys you need to do it. Now, let's talk about the people using these applications. Who has the keys? This is the realm of identity and access governance, and it's arguably even more complex than configurations. Over time, employees change roles, contractors come and go, and permissions accumulate. This is called privilege creep. An employee who started in marketing and moved to product development might still have administrative access to all your social media accounts, your HubSpot, and your Google Analytics, access they absolutely no longer need. Each one of those lingering, unnecessary permissions is a potential entry point for an attacker. If that employee's account is compromised, the attacker now has a sprawling map of access across multiple departments. Then you have the problem of dormant accounts. A contractor who left 6 months ago might still have an active account with access to a sensitive code repository in GitHub. It's a ticking time bomb. Cloud Eagle systematically identifies these risks. It surfaces every user, their exact access levels, and when they last used an application. You can immediately see who is overprivileged, who has dormant accounts, and most critically, you can identify toxic combinations of permissions. For example, a user who has the ability to both create a vendor in your accounting system and approve payments to that vendor. That's a massive internal fraud risk that would be nearly impossible to spot manually. The platform allows you to conduct streamlined, automated access reviews. Instead of sending out 1,000 spreadsheets to managers and praying they fill them out correctly, you can trigger a review directly within the platform. A manager gets a simple, clean interface showing them who on their team has access to what, and they can approve or revoke it with a single click. This process, which used to take months of painful manual effort, can now be done in days continuously. You are systematically pruning away unnecessary access, shrinking your attack surface, and ensuring that the principle of least privilege isn't just a poster on the wall. It's the enforced reality across your entire organization. But the threats don't just come from your core applications or your users. In today's interconnected world, one of the biggest blind spots is the ecosystem of third-party apps and plugins connected to your core SaaS platforms. Think about every Slack bot, every Zoom app, every Chrome extension, every app installed from the Salesforce App Exchange or the Google Workspace Marketplace. Your employees install these things every single day to be more productive, but each one is essentially a piece of third-party code that you are inviting into your environment. When an employee authorizes a new app, they are presented with a permission screen, an OAuth request, that says something like, "This app wants to view your contacts, read your files, and send emails on your behalf." Most employees, in a rush to use the cool new tool, just click allow. They have no idea what they've just done. They may have just given a small unknown startup in another country the keys to your entire Google Drive, or the ability to read every single message in your company's Slack channels. It's the digital equivalent of a stranger walking up to your office building, asking a random employee for their master key, and getting it without any questions asked. This is a massive uncontrolled shadow attack surface. Cloud Eagle tackles this head-on. It discovers every single one of these third-party integrations across your entire ecosystem. It doesn't just show you that someone installed a PDF converter Chrome extension. It shows you the permissions that extension has, can see your files, it can read your browsing history, it cross-references the application vendor against risk intelligence feeds, giving it a security score. Is this a reputable company? Or a shady app with a history of data leaks? With this intelligence, you can finally govern this chaos. You can create policies to automatically deauthorize high-risk applications. You can set up workflows where if an employee wants to install an app with sensitive permissions, it first has to be reviewed and approved by the security team. You are taking back control from this wild west of unvetted applications. You are closing a backdoor into your organization that, right now, is likely wide open. By combining SaaS configuration management, identity governance, and third-party app risk management, you've moved beyond simple visibility. You are now orchestrating a comprehensive, multi-layered defense strategy for the most critical and most vulnerable part of your IT estate, your SaaS environment. You're not just watching the game anymore. You're actively coaching your defense, anticipating the opponent's every move, and ensuring your goal is completely impenetrable. And that impenetrable defense is built on a foundation of proactive, intelligent automation. This is the fundamental shift in mindset that Cloud Eagle represents. For too long, cybersecurity and IT management have been disciplines of reaction. A breach happens, you react. An employee reports a suspicious app, you react. The finance department flags a massive, unexpected software bill. You react. You're constantly playing catch-up, putting out fires and plugging holes in a dam that's under ever-increasing pressure. This isn't sustainable. It's exhausting for your teams, it's incredibly expensive for your business, and frankly, it's a losing strategy in the modern digital landscape. The sheer volume and velocity of SaaS adoption mean that a reactive approach is doomed to fail. You can't manually inspect every app, every user, every permission every day. It's an impossible task. Cloud Eagle changes the game by flipping the script from reaction to prediction. It's about moving from a defensive crouch to a confident, forward-leaning posture. Imagine for a moment the typical day of an IT director. Let's call her Maria. Before Cloud Eagle, Maria's morning starts with a flood of emails. One is from legal, asking about the data residency clauses for a new marketing tool she's never even heard of. Another is from finance, questioning a $20,000 auto renewal for a platform she thought was decommissioned last year. A third is a ticket from an HR manager who needs to immediately deprovision a terminated employee from 24 different applications, and she has no idea which ones he had access to. Her entire day is consumed by these tactical, time-sensitive, and high-stress tasks. She's a digital detective, a contract negotiator, and a firefighter all rolled into one, with no time left to think about the bigger picture, the actual IT strategy that could move the company forward. Now let's look at Maria's day with Cloud Eagle. She comes in and instead of a chaotic inbox, she glances at a single unified dashboard. The platform has already flagged the new marketing tool. It's automatically analyzed its security posture, checked it against SOC 2 and GDPR compliance, and presented a concise risk assessment. Maria doesn't have to hunt down information. It's served to her on a silver platter. She can make an informed decision in minutes, not days. That $20,000 auto renewal? Cloud Eagle alerted her 90 days in advance. It showed her the utilization data, revealing only 3 people had logged in over the past 6 months. She'd already initiated the cancellation process weeks ago, saving the company the full amount. And the terminated employee? The offboarding process is a single click. Cloud Eagle, integrated with her HR system, automatically identifies every single SaaS application the employee had access to and deprovisions them instantly, revoking access and securing company data before the employee has even left the building. Maria's day is no longer about chasing shadows. It's about strategic oversight. She's not putting out fires, she's preventing them from ever starting. The hours she used to spend on manual discovery and deprovisioning are now spent planning a cloud migration strategy. The budget she saved from redundant and unused software is now being reallocated to innovative projects that drive real business growth. This isn't a fantasy. This is the tangible, day-to-day reality for organizations that have embraced this new paradigm of SaaS management. It's the difference between being a victim of your tech stack and being the master of it. And the value extends far beyond the IT department. Think about your chief financial officer. They're not just looking at a line item for software spend anymore. They're looking at a granular, real-time breakdown of value. They can see which departments are getting the most ROI from their tools, which licenses can be reharvested and reassigned instead of buying new ones, and they can forecast future spending with an accuracy that was previously impossible. We've seen clients consolidate their SaaS spend by 25 to 30% in the first year alone. That's not just trimming the fat. That's taking a scalpel to operational waste and reinvesting those hard dollars back into the core of the business. This transforms the IT department from a cost center into a strategic partner in financial planning and corporate efficiency. Then there's your Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO. Their world is one of risk. Every new app, every new user is a potential attack vector. Cloud Eagle becomes their central nervous system for SaaS security. It's not just about identifying apps. It's about understanding the intricate web of connections between them. Who has access to what? What level of permission do they have? Is our sensitive customer data in a CRM being synced to a third-party analytics tool that isn't SOC 2 compliant? These are the questions that keep a CISO up at night. Cloud Eagle provides the answers not as a static report, but as a living, breathing map of their security posture. It alerts them to misconfigurations, to users with excessive permissions, to dormant accounts that are just waiting to be compromised. It turns the vast, dark forest of their SaaS environment into a well-lit, clearly marked park. They can spot threats before they materialize and neutralize vulnerabilities with precision. The peace of mind that comes from that level of visibility and control is, quite frankly, priceless. A single data breach can cost a company millions in fines, reputational damage, and lost customer trust. Cloud Eagle is the insurance policy that actively prevents the accident from ever happening. But the platform's true power lies in its ability to learn and adapt. The SaaS landscape of tomorrow will not look like the SaaS landscape of today. New applications will emerge. New threats will evolve. A static solution is a dead solution. This is where our AI-powered engine truly shines. It's constantly analyzing data, not just from your environment but from the global SaaS ecosystem. It learns what normal behavior looks like for your organization so it can instantly spot anomalies. It sees new security threats emerging in the market and can proactively check if your stack is vulnerable. It identifies trends in your own usage, suggesting cost-saving opportunities or workflow optimizations you might not have even considered. Your Cloud Eagle platform gets smarter every single day. It's a partner that grows with you, ensuring that your SaaS management strategy is not just effective for today, but resilient and prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. You are essentially future-proofing your entire SaaS operations. You're building a system that doesn't just manage the 100 applications you have today, but is ready to intelligently and securely manage the 500 you'll have 5 years from now, without you needing to triple the size of your IT team. So we've come full circle. From the chaos of shadow IT and spiraling costs, to the clarity of total visibility. From the reactive panic of manual deprovisioning, to the proactive calm of automated lifecycle management. From the anxiety of unknown security risks, to the confidence of a hardened and compliant SaaS posture. This is the transformation that Cloud Eagle delivers. It's not just another piece of software. It is a fundamental change in how you govern, optimize, and secure the most critical layer of your modern business. The question is no longer whether you can afford to manage your SaaS stack properly. The real question is, in an age of constant cyber threats and intense budgetary scrutiny, can you afford not to? Every day you operate without this level of control is a gamble. It's a bet that you won't suffer a major breach through a forgotten employee account. It's a bet that you're not wasting tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on software you don't need. It's a bet that you can keep up with the explosive growth of technology using outdated, manual methods. It's time to stop gambling. It's time to take control. This isn't just about watching a video or learning about a platform. This is about making a decision for the future of your organization's security, efficiency, and financial health. The clarity and control we've talked about are not theoretical. They are achievable, and they are within your reach right now. I invite you to take the first step. Click the link in the description below to schedule a personalized demo. This won't be a generic presentation. We will talk to you about your specific challenges, your runaway costs, your security concerns, your offboarding nightmares, and show you exactly how the Cloud Eagle platform will solve them. See for yourself how you can turn chaos into order. See how you can transform your IT team from firefighters into innovators. See how you can finally achieve true mastery over your entire SaaS environment. The future of business is built on SaaS. It's time to build your future on a foundation of control, security, and intelligence. Schedule your demo today.